Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my first unboxing video on this channel. I just got the Criterion Godzilla collection, and I think the official title is called the SHOWA-ERA films from 1954 to 1975, so we're just going to take a look at that. And then at the end of the video, I also recently received the new Baby Metal album, Metal Galaxy, so we'll just take a look at some of that as well. I'll just give my brief thoughts on that album. So let's do it. I've never done an unboxing before, so I don't think it's too complicated. You just take a box and open it, right? So we got my Amazon here. I got my Garvey cutter. Me and this cutter have been through wars together back in college. This Garvey cutter put me through college. I used to work at a pharmacy, basically, or a drugstore, as a stock, a guy who stocks the shelves. And I was a master of my craft. This Garvey cutter was an important tool. Very, very useful. We have a box within a box, of course. Now, what would happen if this wasn't the Godzilla collection? It was something else. They shipped me the wrong thing, maybe. This video would be over fairly quickly. Nice. Let me take the wrapping off first here. Now, a few months ago, I did a video on a bunch of the Godzilla films that I bought over the summer, and of course, Criterion decides to announce this after I buy all the Godzilla films, you know what I mean? So I'm double dipping on this, but I think it's worth it. Now this is, of course, a Blu-ray set, which I don't have, so it's an upgrade. Alright. There it is. If you've been on the Criterion website, you'll know that that's expected. I like it feels high quality. And here's the back. Now, if you want some information and some opinions on this, like the technical specs of this, I'll go over some of it. But you might want to check out another YouTuber's video, Daisuke Beppu. He did like a almost like a half-hour video on like the specs and like the special features that were listed on the Criterion website, and he gives some good insight into that. And I think he's going to do another video possibly when he actually receives his copy. So this is let's just go over the movies that are included in this. Of course, you get 15 Godzilla films. You get Godzilla, Godzilla Raids Again, King Kong vs. Godzilla, Mothra vs. Godzilla, Ghidorah, the Three-Headed Monster, Invasion of Astro-Monster, Ebira, Horror of the Deep, or as I know it, Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster, Son of Godzilla, Destroy All Monsters Attack, Godzilla vs. Hedora, also known as Godzilla vs. the Smog Monster, Godzilla vs. Gigan, or Gigan, Godzilla vs. Megalon, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, and then Terror of Mechagodzilla. So you get, all these movies are on 8 Blu-ray discs, so each film does not have its separate disc. So there's some, you're going to get, most of the Blu-rays will have some doubling up on the movies, which shouldn't be too big of an issue, right, with Blu-ray technology. So these are the collector's set features that are on the back. Alright, I'll read them to you. You get high-definition digital transfers of all 15 Godzilla films, released together for the first time. High-definition digital transfers of Godzilla King of the Monsters, the 1956 US release version of Godzilla, and the 1962 Japanese release version of King Kong vs. Godzilla, which I have not seen. I've only seen the American version of that. So I'm going to do a Godzilla filmography review at some point next year, and I might do a little comparison between the Japanese and American releases of that King Kong vs. Godzilla. Then you get audio commentaries from 2011 on Godzilla and Godzilla King of the Monsters, featuring film historian David Kalat. And I actually got a book that he wrote, and I'll show that to you after I'm done with the Blu-rays here. Now, one thing that I've seen online that people have been complaining about is that there's really audio commentaries on only 2 of the films, right? You're getting 15 films here, but only 2 of them are going to have audio commentaries, it looks like. Some people, I think, wanted more than that. But, you know, if you go back to my Godzilla haul from a few months ago, I got another set, kind of an expensive set, of like they had 7 of these movies. I forgot who released it. And I think every single movie had a commentary, an audio commentary. So if you want more audio commentaries, you could pick up that set, although nowadays it's pretty expensive. Then you get the international English language dub tracks for Invasion of Astro-Monster, Son of Godzilla, Destroy All Monsters, Godzilla vs. Megalon, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, and Terror of Mechagodzilla. So that's another thing, is that you're not going to get an English dub for every single film. I know if you want to show it to your kids, you might need to show them some with Japanese subtitles, I think. So, but you still get a decent number of English language dubs here. You get a Directors Guild of Japan interview with Ishiro Honda from 1990. Get some programs detailing the creation of Godzilla's special effects and unused effect sequences from Toho, including Destroy All Monsters. New interviews with filmmaker Alex Cox about his admiration for the Showa-era Godzilla films. New and archival interviews with cast and crew members. And you get Akira Ifukube in there and some other guys. Interview with critic Tadao Sato from 2011. An illustrated audio essay from 2011 about the real-life tragedy that inspired Godzilla. You get trailers, new English subtitle translations, and this lavishly illustrated deluxe hardcover book. So let's take a look at the inside of the book here. And, oh my. Yeah, this is, see, the artwork on this is quite interesting for these films. Because, you know, I almost think it almost oversells the films to a certain extent. I would like to see an anime version with this type of art used, right? Should make an anime version with this style of artwork. It would be pretty sweet. Now you got table of contents here. You got The Reign of Destruction by Steve Rifle. He discusses Godzilla. And then you have all of the films. All right, with notes. All 15 films with these notes. Now, of course, you know, these are not all of the Godzilla films. There was a bunch more that were released after Terror of Mechagodzilla, of course. But this collection, you'll get about half of the whole series just in this one collection. So let's take a look at some of these. Ooh, pretty big write-up here. Look at this. This is a pretty massive write-up. The print is very small. So that's pretty nice. Should be pretty informative, I would think. So this is the Godzilla artwork. I like that one. That's pretty sweet. And then, of course, all the write-ups. And then, of course, my Godzilla filmography review is going to take me forever to prepare for, because I'm going to watch all these films multiple times and then read all this stuff. You know what I mean? Godzilla Raids Again, which I believe I've only seen one time. That's pretty cool. Very cold colors on this one compared to the other ones. King Kong versus Godzilla. That artwork's pretty fantastic. I like the pink. A lot of pink in that. I think the artwork is better than the film itself, from what I remember. The film, we'll see. Maybe it'll grow on me after I watch it again. Mothra versus Godzilla. You get the yellow color scheme in this. Yellow and black. Yellow and black go well together. That's pretty sweet. Then we get Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. This is very different. It almost looks like an old, like a really old, like wood-blocked type type painting or something. That's pretty cool. Invasion of Astro-Monster. Again, another pink and black themed one. That must be the one where Godzilla jumps in celebration, I believe. You get the UFO. Another yellow themed one. Ebira, Horror of the Deep. Also known as Godzilla versus the Sea Monster. That's pretty interesting. Most of these movies I enjoy. I do. Son of Godzilla, which should not be confused with another one that we're going to cover. This one I always got confused with the notoriously worst film of the franchise, which we'll see later. Destroy All Monsters. It almost looks like there's a... Is that me, or is there almost like a sun? If you were to eliminate all the monsters, would there be a sun there? Looks like there's sun rays. You know what I mean? Emanating out from somewhere. I could be wrong about that, but... That's pretty sweet. Then All Monsters Attack. This is the one I get confused with Son of Godzilla, or at least I used to. Because you have a little kid and that little Godzilla baby thing. That's terrible. This guy's... I don't like this little baby Godzilla guy. Nice artwork, though. Yeah, this movie's notoriously awful. And I've only seen it a few times. I remember watching this, even as a kid, I didn't like this movie. I remember that. Godzilla vs. Hedora. One of the most underappreciated films of the entire franchise. Smog Monster's freaking awesome. I don't care what anybody says. A very 1970s film. This is another underrated one. Godzilla vs. Gigan. Got the lightning coming down. Man, see, this artwork makes the movie look really, like, cool. But Godzilla vs. Gigan, I would not describe it as a cool movie. It's not cool. It's entertaining. Cool, I'm not so sure about that. Godzilla vs. Megalon. You got Jet Jaguar down there if you look closely. I like this one too. A lot of these movies I like. That's why I bought this, right? Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. I gotta get some, I'd like to get a few posters of this. Or maybe go to, back in the day I had connections at a photo lab. And they used to be able to blow up pictures for me and just frame them for me. You know what I mean? That would be sweet to be able to... There's Terror of Mechagodzilla. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. You get the back. A bunch of credits. Yeah, this just keeps going. And then we got the actual discs coming up here. Oh, looks like they're all in 2 pages, which is pretty neat. So those are all the discs. This style of disc storage, I'm not the biggest fan of. Having to slide it out. It's similar to my, I bought a Hitchcock collection, like the Hitchcock Masterpiece collection or something, and it's similar. So you have to, like, kind of slide them out. And it kind of annoys me that I gotta slide them out. I wish they just had the, well, they come out pretty easy. Come out pretty easy. Not bad. No real artwork on the discs, really, but you don't really need it with this type of presentation, right? So yeah, this is a pretty solid set, I must say. It's pretty excellent. Now, my thoughts on each film, I do talk about some of them in my Godzilla haul from a few months ago, but I'll save my thoughts on most of these to till I do the actual Godzilla filmography review. So my plan for that, when I release that next year, is I'll rewatch all of these, of course, as well as all the other Godzilla films. I'll probably watch them twice, because the other sets I got have commentaries. I'm gonna want to see the movie without the commentary on it, and see the movie with the commentary, and then yeah, after that I'm reading some books on Godzilla as well. So yeah, this I approve of. Pretty excellent. Now the books I got 2 books. So after I watch each movie, I'll read the related chapter in these books. Now this book is the official Godzilla Compendium, which I actually had to get used because this book is really freaking expensive. If you buy it new, you're spending like $180 or something. But if you buy it used, it's still pretty expensive, but you save money. But this is the one of the few, if only, official compendium released in English that's backed by Toho. So you'll see, like in the other book that I got, it's like a critical history of Godzilla. There's not many pictures and stuff in it because Toho and Japanese companies in general are real restrictive on copyright and stuff. So they won't really allow you, I don't think, to really go all out and post tons of Godzilla pics in your book unless you're, officially the official book. You know what I mean? So this book goes through. It has reviews, and this seems to be a real positive book. But it goes all the way through. Where is it? Godzilla versus Destroyer. So that's 20 plus movies that this book covers. And it goes through and it has a lot of like official stats and stuff like that, like the height of each monster. And then you have a bunch of like the posters, the original Japanese posters of the films are included in like a colored section in the middle. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading through this as I watch the films. It's got screenshots and everything too. This is pretty nice. So yeah, this is more like a family-friendly book as well. It doesn't seem to be too technical. Then, for a more critical assessment, I got this from David Kalat, who also contributed to the Godzilla Blu-ray set, Critical History and Filmography of Toho's Godzilla series. I think this book is a little bit more critical of the films as necessary. And this goes all the way through. This one goes through Godzilla Final Wars. So this goes through a little bit further in history. The other book is missing the Millennium Era. This one has the Millennium Era. So that's pretty cool. And I look forward to reading this as well. So yes, I got lots of Godzilla nonsense to churn through later this year and early next year. And then, alright, so I got the new Baby Metal album, Metal Galaxy, and the last 2 times I got Baby Metal albums, because I still buy CDs. I know I'm a barbaric person who still buys physical stuff, right? But the physical CDs for Baby Metal really aren't that impressive in terms of the artwork and the album covers and stuff. I mean, compare them to some of Bandmaid's albums. They're actually pretty neat on their cover art. And Love Bites has some awesome cover art on their albums. So I bought, Metal Galaxy, and I bought it from Japan directly, as I usually do. Because sometimes there's some songs on the Japanese version that do not make it over on the American version that's released, and that is the case with this. So I bought it, expecting just like a normal CD to come in, and I get this thing in the mail. And it kind of surprised me because I wasn't expecting something this gigantic. At first I thought I mistakenly ordered like a record, a vinyl or something. But that's a pretty outstanding cover compared to their other stuff. And then you get the songs on the back. It's all space themed as well. So I'd have to say, my favorite songs, just right off the bat, I would say Shanti 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 is really good. A Brand New Day. I like BMC. and Papaya a lot too. But there's really no song on this album that I don't like. There's even like the Irish grunting song. I even like that one. Homogenei, I believe it's called. So on the inside, you get the space theme, which is it's 2 discs. So you get 8 songs on each disc. And then you actually get a booklet with it as well. Now this album is, if anybody was on the fence with this band, I don't think this album is going to win you over, because there is a lot of electronic and poppy types themes in it as well as like the metal stuff. But I like it. Going into the album, I was a little bit worried with this band, because not only did one of the dancers leave, right? One of the guitarists passed away in an accident. And then, on top of that, that's pretty excellent. These are like the song listing and the lyrics. But on top of that, then they had that like wardrobe debacle last year where they came out with these new wardrobes and outfits that just looked atrocious. And like a few of the singles that came out were, you know, I wasn't really feeling that much. So I was a little worried going into the album. I figured this would be a pretty pivotal album for them. And it's actually really good. And if I feel that way after listening to an album only a handful of times, that means over time I'm just going to like it more. Very odd band, though. I can see why people don't like them, because some of the stuff is just pretty wild and weird. And you get a mix of metal, J-pop, and electronic music. But I like the space theme, too. And then the different styles of music is pretty impressive as well. I mean, you got stuff that's like got like an Indian flavor, like an Irish flavor. It's like all over the place, which is kind of weird for one album release. But I enjoyed it, and it's good stuff. I would say after listening to this album, I do have more appreciation for Suzuka's voice, because even though there's a lot of production on this album, there's a lot of alteration of sound and stuff like that, you could still tell on this album that she's got some range. You know, she's very talented at singing different styles of music and hitting all different, like her voice will be all over the place, but she still sounds good, which is something that kind of impressed me on this album more than the prior ones. I think she's kind of just the lead of the band now, because if you think about it, I mean, even if Moa ever left, I mean, you could get another dancer. I don't know if that's a popular thing to say, but I really think Suzuka and the songwriters are the key aspects to the band going forward. You know, the Kami band is great too, but they're kind of even more in the background, I think, in this album than previously. But yeah, so that was another purchase that kind of surprised me. So this year we got a Love Bites album. We got a Lindsey Sterling album. A Baby Metal album. And we're getting a Bandmate album in December. So, those are really the main bands that I follow now. So, yes, this is another good purchase. And I got this off of, I think it was Yes Asia or CD Japan that I got that one on. That's the Sun version of the album. So those are 2 pretty solid hauls, I must say. That Godzilla filmography thing is going to take me forever to prepare for. But it'll be fun. So if you have picked up any of these, let me know your thoughts. And as always, I'll see you next time.